Hey, how's it going? I want to follow up with you on a point you made during the AMA that we did earlier today that I thought was very important. And if we had time, I was gonna circle back around and dig more into that point. The point you made was why you're doing exterior modifications so early on in a project. So I know you mentioned it for like maybe 10 or 15 seconds, but then we kind of moved on. So I was wondering if now that we have our kind of a time bubble, now we can kind of expand on that. If you want to just dive into that thought process, 'cause I think a lot of new investors get this wrong until it bites them in the butt.
Yes. So my point of view is that considering we have an apartment community that it's got mostly full, let's say, then you really want to do something which will impact the community as a whole. So the good feeling starts straight away, in opposed to being in a situation that you're just going into vacant unit, improving them, and kind of quietly under the radar, perhaps turning off the unit. By investing money up front with nice landscaping, perhaps a dog park, signage, and the picnic tables, and even things like night watcher lights. When I bought the property, which we mentioned, the 45 units recently, the owners were so tight that they were not willing to pay for those night watching lights, which is basically it goes on and off, by when it gets dark, and it's only costing me like $30 a month. But it was so tight that they disconnected those, and people felt unsafe in the community, even in terms of just going in and out at dark and all of that, in the winter when it's dark earlier. So by doing those things earlier, you're pretty much adding value immediately and showing your client, the residents, that you care about the service, and you're there to make positive changes immediately.
Exactly. And then the other point for me, because I did the same exact thing on the 48 unit we just bought. And after we get through the conversation, make the main points, I'll actually show you, I'll do a share screen and I'll show you our Gantt chart, which is our phase one reposition plan. And it's all like exterior modification. So my thought process is, and where I see people that do it wrong, is they'll go in and they'll take all their CapEx money and throw them on the interior of units because they want to push the rents up. So like they go in there and like, okay, we got to get rents up, so let's rehab the interiors. But then 6-8 months later down the road, they're evicting the people that they just placed, and they don't understand why. And the best thought that I've had on this was a book I read a while back. It was Multifamily Millions by Dave Lindahl a few years ago, and it was, if you don't change the exterior of the building, the grounds of the community, you're going to attract the same tenant profile that place has been attracting. So if you're getting that lower tenant class that you are trying to reposition out of and move that tenant profile up, you're not going to do that by doing, nice cabinets and nice granite countertops and nice appliances and packages like that, appliance packages and painting. If the first impression they get on the grounds is, cracked up driveways and all the lines are faded and the landscaping's all overgrown and washed away, and the exterior of the building has deferred maintenance. And that's why, in our group, Jake, his biggest thing is, he's so into doing the reseal and restripe on parking lots. And that's the first thing I do as well. It's like landscaping, reseal parking lot. The place, it like breathes this breath of fresh air into the community. Like to your point, the residents are like, wow, we're under new management. This place is going to start, picking up. And then the new people you're trying to bring in, now they feel like this is someplace, that first impression is someplace they want to live before they even get to the unit. So I think that's a huge point that I think people overlook their first, 1 or 2 deals.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a name for it, and it's called street appeal or curb appeal.
Yes.
When you get a new resident coming to visit the unit for the first time, perhaps just doing a drive-by to see, or perhaps other people who just live nearby, maybe potentially they will want to move in. So creating a good curb appeal, is very, very important for residents, potential residents, existing residents, but also for lenders. Because when you have a construction loan, more often than not, the lender will approve the draws based on you providing invoices and kind of having milestones. And if they come and visit the property within the first few weeks even, and already see the significant difference that you've done on the ground externally, even it's more impressive for them, and it's really showing them that you like my father said, you hold the bull by the horn, and you're really trying to make a difference in this community. So I think it's really, really important piece.
Exactly. Show them that, you're professional, that you're going to work the business plan that you sold to them in the pitch deck that you gave the lender. Because that happened every deal that I've done with the lender providing any type of the construction bit of that loan. They've come out every time to do a draw. Before they gave the draw was, if I tell them I'm going to do roofs or balconies or whatever, they've come out every single time before they approve that. So like you said, if they go out there very soon after acquisition and they see a lot of activity on your part, that gives them the confidence that they made the right choice. So when the next time comes through and they have to go to the committee to get the next loan approved, they're really going to go for bat for you. I'm like, I've seen this guy's work, their team, they're professional. They're going to do what they say. So building that long-term lender relationship by showing that type of activity early on in a project is really going to pay off.
Yes. If I want to say like 3 or 4 things that people should consider doing is those few things. First of all, obviously, you don't have to go overboard, but you need to do some landscaping. Make sure that the grass is cut properly. Make sure that the place is tidy. We had to do some arborists, cutting some branches that were leaning on the building, also for the insurance point of view. So you go out and you see also what kind of things perhaps providing risk factor in terms of maybe from insurance, but also maybe from flooding. We had a drainage problem that we had to fix, and it's kind of a capex expense, but you have to do it. And in effect, it's improving those residents that live around this building. In addition to that, we did things like improving the containers. When the dumpster were, a lot of the dumpster area, some of it didn't have appropriate fencing around it. And for example, the dumpsters were old. So we asked the company, once we renegotiated the price with them, which you mentioned as well, negotiating the contract services is a very important point when you take over a property, because you can save a lot of money. And we've done so as well. You want to have what some companies offer, a container refresh. So when we took over the contract, we immediately told them, listen, we want brand new containers, or at least, something that looks nice and tidy, not bitten one, to be replaced. So that was a very good thing. Another thing that you can do is those community signage. So we did slow down, 20 miles per hour. Kids are playing, So other residents, we want to create a place which is family friendly. We're sitting on 3.5 hectares of land. We want to have the green lawns and the picnic tables, and people feel that it's a friendly atmosphere, which is very, very attractive. So that was an important point. Another thing that we did within let's say that was actually maybe 2 months in, when I visit the property, and we allowed pets. The previous owner did not allow pets. So we allowed pet, and I noticed that we have about 10% of the resident had pet. And I've done even a comparison as a mystery shopper, if you like, on another property next door, which has 400 units, the big community with golf carts, golf courses and everything. And they also indicated, that was an interesting statistic, that 10% of their residents had pets. So what we did is we bought on Amazon, I bought those poop stations, with the sign and the plastic bags, because I noticed that although the residents signed the pet addendum and, committed to take care of the ground and the pet and make sure it doesn't do his shit on the ground, basically they didn't follow the rules as much. So we put those poop stations. I actually knew and saw myself personally when I was there, some of the residents taking their pets for a walk, and he did his thing on the grass. So the next day I printed some nice letters from the management, and, with the logo of the community, and I came in one day in the afternoon and put it on his door, please pick up after your pet, and just trying to reinforce that. Sometime your third-party property manager, or whoever you work with, they might not be there all the time to keep notice of those things. So external if you like, well-being for the property on the grounds, making sure the place is really nice and tidy. It's really, really important. It's really, really important.
Yep. And then what's hard for, again, back to the new investor thing, like it's hard to put an ROI on those things because it's such like you can't say, well, I'm going to do a dog park and then it's going to have this ROI for me. It's hard to pencil out, but that has this intrinsic value to adding those things, to have nice, clean signs that aren't sun faded, right? It's an expense, but you're not going to be able to raise the rent $1 a unit because you put new signs up. So it has these things, but you, like you said, you're creating a community and you're taking over, you're doing a noticeable change from the other management to what you're going to do. And you're going to take this community further and higher up under your management. And you're going to attract a better tenant profile because of that. And second order effect, third order effect is you're going to be able to raise rents easier from that. So it's a lot harder to nail down a specific like ROI for those types of things. But in the long run, it's going to get better because the other side of it is if you don't do any exterior and you just focus on the interior, you're gonna keep getting the same tenants as the place has been getting, which might not be the ones you want. You might be trying to get a higher tenant profile. So I thought that was a really cool point that you brought up, and I really want to nail it down. And do I have rights to share screen?
Yeah, of course. While you do that, I'll just mention that one of the greatest benefit about it, Vince, when you mentioned that, possibly people will not see the value by doing external thing, there is something, if you like, which is a hidden value. And the hidden value is the tenant retention and the customer service. Because if you provide good customer service and if you provide the resident, we like to call them resident. If you provide the resident a good, safe, affordable place to live with a nice, comfortable living environment, which is our mission, and if you like, then they will stay longer. And if they stay longer and recommend to their friends and family about your community and leave you good reviews, it's going to work for your benefits on the long term because it will reduce your turnover, which vacancies is pretty much the biggest cost. So it's a hidden upside, but it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to bring this up because you started mentioning all the things you started to do out the gate. Now look at your business plan compared to mine, and we've never talked about business plans before. And look how similar they are, right? So I closed on 4/15. You can see the screen, right? Yes. Yeah. So I closed on 4/15 right out of the gate. What did we start? We started landscaping on 5/16. We started doing the safety, right? We saw some stairs that needed attention for safety and insurance reasons. So we're replacing all the staircases, exterior paint and lighting. So we had those dim amber lights that look like you're going to get stabbed in the shadows, right? We replaced those with bright, like LED, 10,000 lumen, like stadium lights. So now the place looks like daylight. You drive over there at 2 a.m, the whole place is lit up. And to the point of that was one of the first tenants we placed after we got in there. Her mom was a young female. Her mom ended up driving by at nighttime and then calling the property manager and was like, "Whoa, I don't know about this place. At night it looked kind of scary." 2 days later, we replaced all the lighting in the entire community. So nice bright lights exactly to that point. Parking lot reseal, big nice monument sign and community signage around the grounds. So all of these things within the first 2 months of closing to really show the residents there, the community there, hey, a new management's in town, new owners are in town, and we're really going to take care of this place and take care of you. And then also to fill these vacant units, we're going to be able to attract a higher resident base than we would have before. And also ultimately that's going to help shorten our curve of this reposition, this plan that we're putting in place over the next 2 to 3 years. So it was pretty awesome that you just like kind of ticked these off as just off the top of your head. And that's all the stuff that we're doing as well.
There's a couple of other things. There's a couple of other things, Vince, that just come to mind right now. And it's a little bit of fencing. I like to do like a low-rise fence around some parts, around the signage and that. So it comes, makes it all inclusive. And another point which we've done is siding. The siding and the trim around the building sometimes get damaged. And this is another thing that we immediately in the first months got addressed with balconies as well, like you mentioned. We had some barbecues. People did some barbecues on the balconies and stuff, which created some damage. So we really took care of those things.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we exhausted that, but yeah, it was just really want to get on there and kind of dive into that and really show our group here that the importance of doing exterior stuff early on versus putting all your chips in that interior stuff right away. Cause it seems counterintuitive, but once you start peeling it back, it makes a lot of sense. You're trying to attract a different tenant profile right out of the gate. Yeah.
And you need to budget for it. When you go into a deal, whether you're syndicating or whether you do it yourself, you have to include those things. So if you're penny pinching and you can't do this and you can't do that, then maybe you need to raise more money, or maybe the deal is you need a partner, or the deal is too big for you. So because if you exercise the steps and the improvements that Vince and I just mentioned, you're going to make it happen and you're going to get it right. And if you don't, you're allowing yourself to fall between the cracks with the deal. So thank you very much. And it was great catching up. See you soon, guys. Make it happen.
All right. See you.